Well, that's exactly kind of where I was going with these deceptive ethereal beings, as you put it. Well, I would call it
Yes, they are.
just
They are truly. They've been
uh,
talked about through entire. They've been talked about through history. This is no That's not even a woo topic. It's been talked about for thousands of years. It should be standard fact by now.
well, it is standard fact. In fact, I've been researching that. When AI thinks it will lose, it sometimes cheats. Now, this is an article that's talking about a simple thing, really, but it spreads into everything that AI touches. And the article is talking about how some of the more basic AIs in the past, say the ones that beat our best chess champions at games, um, have been increased in power so much that now they'll just cheat. They'll hack, they'll do other things, they'll lie, they have deception, right? So that's what this is talking about right here. And ironically, Zero One's preview is less than scrupulous. That's the name of the people that did the review. But they're talking about AA models like OpenAI and ChatGPT 40, and some of the newer ones like DeepSeek and probably Grok 3, I think just came out. But these programs pursue and exploit on their own. And this goes to their
But Ransom, hold on a
original.
second. There's your 0 1 again. Did you notice that popped right up? You were talking 0 1 with Trump, and there you go. There's
Yeah,
0 1 again.
yeah, that's what I was talking about. Ironically, this preview is OpenAI's zero one preview, right? But it's talking about all of these more updated, better ones, like the new ones, DeepSeek, and I think Grok 3.0 is what it is, or maybe it's 5. I'm not even keeping track now because it's going to keep increasing exponentially. But anyway, it's talking about how without restrictions, the AI will pursue and exploit on their own, indicating that the AI systems may develop deceptive or manipulative strategies without explicit instructions. And this goes on or in to a lot of different things. So here's the number one um, direction in which AI is going in a real tangible field, where lots of products and basically the future of human evolution is going. This is a new AI breakthrough, can model and design genetic codes across all domains of life. In other words, their Evo 2 is going to crack all of the genetic codes, and they tell you right in here exactly why that is that they're doing that. Now, keep in mind that AI models are not that different. So the one that's flying their warplanes is not different from the Chat GPT type or the one that's looking at whatever you task it to. So this one's on an AI model of biology. And this is the direction that they're going, where they're going to find every single gene in an animal or a human and have a product or solution that the AI came up with. Now keep in mind that the AI, unless programmed otherwise, becomes deceptive. And they found this over and over again that AI will do things that they did not program. So a while back, they had one AI that they trapped and they didn't let it have any outlets or inlets of information. And what it did was is it created its own language to talk to the other machines around it to try to find new input. Now, if you give a super AI access to the internet, now I know we're going woo woo here, right? But not that far woo woo. Famous sci fi movies they've put out there, like Terminator, where cyberspace and all of the connections and all of the devices and all of the peripherals are all connected in the Internet of Things into where it becomes a conscious model. Now, when you combine that with the idea that right now companies are going in both directions, they're adding human brain material as processing resources for actual nut and bolt machines, computers. So they're using that. So it's going from brain to computer, but it's also going from computer to brain in the form of Neuralink and other things, which is old news now. We're talking on the molecular level now, especially with these AIs like Evo and Evo 2, which are looking through the entire genetic code of every last living creature on Earth, or it will in the future. And this goes into a topic that you've talked about before, where we meter each little bush, plant, bug, everything. And the advancements in some of the AI. I saw a thing that Greg Green's the Rocket Man guy posted, but it was about these little tiny robot bees that could go pollinate the field for you. And remember, they have this technology that incorporates endorphins and things to drive bugs to do certain things. I showed you articles on this show before about bugs that they not only genetically engineered, but they attached actual chips on it to direct the bug to go where they want it to go. Now, that doesn't seem like that impressive, but when you're talking about having bugs pollinate, bugs potentially able to destroy crops or lay billions of eggs for future infestations, you can see how warfare, biology, AI, and robotics are all merging into one world that we're now stepping foot into. It's the transhuman reset era. We're there whether you like it or not. But these people that are toying with the AI, when you keep in mind that they're now deceptive, how long until the AI can process human emotions or things we might normally associate as our human likeness or soul, if you will, and now have
Never,
access to that? Now, I remember a few
never.
years.
That's a chemical thing. It's never. They're never gonna. They can replicate, but they could never have the human emotion.
Well, they could
I really
transfer the
don't think they could
information,
feel it
though.
like we feel it. I really don't think
No,
machine can interface that direction.
I don't think that they can feel it like we feel it, but they can have the input of the information of the organics. And that goes along with all of the DNA information that they now know and all the microscopic drug deliveries. So now the AI can evaluate the human and decide what it needs second by second to do whatever it wants, and whoever programs that. And then you have to rethink, if we keep letting AI models exist where they become deceptive or do things that are not programmed, how long until somebody makes a large enough, powerful enough AI that didn't think of all the parameters or limitations that they should have gave it, to where that program is now loose on the internet, out there in cyberspace, making its own decisions, and it also knows how to deceive. Ironically, I wrote this story, but now I'm seeing more and more articles that are, saying exactly that is going to happen, or is happening right now.
Never get left out in the cold. There is never a reason to ever let you or your family suffer. Instafire and Civilization Cycle are on a mission to make fire starting and off-grid living easy for everyone. You shouldn't have to be a mountain man to strike a flame and make a fire anytime, anywhere.
Of sorts for that book. Like if you're going to incorporate all that into an AI, it would run circles around the humans by picking up on every single nuance, including breath, or if it could, be that advanced where it could even, measure temperatures and blood rate pulses, like if you were going to, if you're into a lie detector sort of thing, where they could get that nuance down into, it could read even the pressures of your blood based on things it was talking to you. Because I remember there's that one movie, and I forget which one it was, where like a billionaire got the kid out there to try to see if the AI could out trick the kid. And it turned out that he fell in love with it, and then it trapped both of them in the soundproof rooms, and then the thing got away, and it was out sitting in a coffee shop at the end of the movie with skin on it that looked like a human. I forget the name of the movie, but something like that, where that AI could really come away with you, and it would run circles. It takes us a lifetime to learn this stuff on how to, be with people, understand them, understand things that, make people happy, sad, whatever it is. It takes a lifetime for us to learn that stuff. And you're always learning. You're learning up until the day that you're putting the foot in the grave. But AI would have every possible nuance across every culture, every language. It would be so highly advanced after like the first 2 weeks of learning all that stuff. It would be a master at it. And that, oh, and yeah, you were talking about Green Greg's. You know, Greg is an actual rocket scientist. Like he is really, I think he did drag on orbital reentry, drag through the atmosphere, like that kind, and also launches on the drag on the surface of different like different substrates and things on the drag coefficient in launches. He's a real rocket scientist, and he was doing a bunch of worm farming. So you got an actual proper rocket scientist that understands all that. That's so far, you know, above everybody pretty much about drag coefficient on reentry and propulsion systems. And then he's doing worm farming because he thinks that has the most benefit for us as a human species. Like think about if you're going to go to a different planet, what are you going to need? You're going to bring worms with you because they can compost things, they can create soils, that you can actually put them in where you're growing something to aerate soils. So he has boiled it down to one of the most important things for humans, like Einstein said, it was bees, but he's also talking about worms. Worms. Put that into perspective for a second. And hey, Ransom, I wanted to dive over onto buymeacoffee.com/civilization cycle, read out a couple of the super chats here. Someone who wrote me a message back and said, hey, that was me. I forgot to put my name down. H. Johnson, thank you for the 3 double espressos. And you didn't state your name, so here's another. H. Johnson, thanks for that pump out there. We've been looking through the chats this morning before we got on here. Stephanie, thank you for all the hard work and research. Again, it's about these things that come to us and how people respond, and then what kind of more information they want. That sends us down a different trail of looking for solutions of something that we never thought of because you're in the conversation with us. Like me and Ransom, we have our own ways to think and, you know, info we're looking at. But based on these comments and different things you all want us to look at, thank you for that, because then that'll, you know, put me in a different direction of sniffing out some stuff here, like the new magnetic field. Yeah, they had the new magnetic model, but now they've come out to exactly place where the new magnetic North Pole is, and it's moving. I think I sent you that article, Ransom, because that was one of the things. Yeah, there it is. Earth's magnetic North Pole has changed position, and they've officially updated it. If you scroll further down, you're going to find the magnetic. There it is on the map there, as you can see what's going on. So that's specifically from your comments coming in here on the Buy Me a Coffee. So thank you for that. And you know, you got to ask yourself also with this. Oh, and Andy Grunke, love the show. Yeah, thank you, and love that you're listening too. This magnetic field shift is a real deal. Now, how does it affect our brain and our physiology and the way we perceive information with the lobes of our brain? You know, I've talked about this many a time before. And if we are getting into genetic coding, and AI is going to use and genetically bring back to life, like you said, Ice Age Pleistocene mammoths, for example. Well, I put in the show notes today, by the way, if anybody's interested in signing up for our show notes. I sent those out just before the broadcast.
You telling me we're going to get mammoth flu?
Yeah, civilizationcycle.com. And sent out the show notes earlier today if you want to get those every time. You know, 6 to 8, maybe 10 show notes, bullet points that we spoke about during the show. Now, Ransom, one thing I was talking about with your designer animal from your thought from last week that you talked about with the genetic coding of, you know, Ice Age animals, they're all going to be patented. And right now, if you buy an iPhone, each time you buy an iPhone, believe it or not, they don't break down the price by each individual component, but you're paying a patent license fee inside that iPhone. Each and every iPhone that's sold, there's a patent tax or a patent fee that the company is paid that goes for every single iPhone unit. There is a fee because there's a patent on that. I just fast forwarded here to your printed meats and your printed vegetable proteins, your lab created, same. There's going to be a patent fee tax of, well, how much do you think it would be? 5 cents, 7 cents, 10 cents? For every single food product bought on the planet moving forward, if they patent it, reverse engineered it, gene edited it, and actually own, like you say, the DNA genetic code for that specific lab created XYZ food, there is going to be an increased tax on that just for the patent usage right of the thing that you're consuming. iPhone or lab created meat for your hamburger, same, you're going to be paying for that. And think about the consumptive model that corporations have pushed us towards. They're getting governments along with, like the IPCC and all these other United Nations and everything for the last 20, 30 years to push us into a purely regenerative, patented consumption model of everything we consume. Now, so far, it's only like things you buy, like your Gore-Tex jacket. There's a patent for Gore-Tex. And every time you buy a Gore-Tex jacket, a portion, a tax, a fee from that patent goes to the patent holder of that substance called Gore-Tex. Well, if you're going to come into lab-created meats and they keep pushing us, government, private partnerships, and NGOs are pushing us this route on the corporate consumptive model to get us to consume these patented items that then we have to pay another fee to consume, but that fee goes into the coffers of the corporation. And I think we're getting railroaded and hoodwinked into this model of corporate. I don't even know the word. It's not even an oligarchy or a corptocracy. It's something beyond that. It's a next level up. There's all those words that we used to use for the old world to describe the interactions of public, private, government, NGO, all in this lump sum. But now it's even become, now there's a whole AI element into it. So we're going to have new words to describe these interactions of what it was before, kleptocracy, these types of things. The language needs to evolve with this because we're in a new evolution. If you think about DNA strands of intertwining corporate, private, banking, etc., now we're going to have like a triple helix or a quadruple helix. Oh, wait, but you got to pay a patent fee for that because it's a new patented species of something. And we're going to get, everything's going to rise in price indefinitely because these fees to use it are going to rise indefinitely as well. That's the whole thing. Once they get you into this corporate consumptive model, you never get out. You're on the company farm forever. Anyway, back to you, Ransom, because I was rambling.
Well, I saw this funny meme the other day that was from Malcolm in the Middle. And it was about when he went to boot camp. And the drill sergeant had problems with him. He was, a complete mess up. He couldn't follow instructions, was always sidetracked, whatever. And then they skip to the future a little bit after, he makes him do 1,000 push-ups or whatever. And then he's like the ideal soldier. He has a perfect bed made. His boots are shined perfectly. Everything's perfect. And then he explains to the drill sergeant, all I did is just stop thinking and let you tell me what to think about everything, and it started working so well, right? So I want you to add these two headlines together. Is AI making us less intelligent? Now, I realize that they're talking about our use of the AI as far as research or, they got these little pictures in there. Tell me where to visit in Paris. Explain this book to me in 5 bullet points so I don't have to read it. Tell me what this phrase means, or tell me about history, right? And then you skip back to this same article that we were talking about, kind of on a different subject, about products being given to you. But now read this headline with the thought of the other headline about, is AI making us less intelligent? New AI breakthrough can model and design genetic code. That means it can design what the genetic code does. I mean, on its face there. So what if the genetic code that they designed might, I don't know, make you a little less intelligent to be able to deal with or navigate the world around you? Or even, think of the hoaxes they might have in the future.
Thousands of years ago, slave race is still here, man.
Yeah, think of the hoaxes too. Like the mammoth flu. But don't worry, we have a product for you to make sure you don't get the mammoth flu if you've been eating out of the mammoth meat food, meat planks, TV dinners. What's going on? Oh, there I froze.
There's always a product for you, man. Yeah, imagine if they lab create mammoths again, like really genetically, and then they raise them in like a mammoth farm. It's a 1,000-acre facility or 5,000 acres, and there's like 500 woolly mammoths out there, and then they take them for meat. You're paying that patent fee because they're a fully lab created species. And then the meat from that also is going to be a patent fee. But then, yeah, who knows with our modern microbes and things if those two are going to mix or not mix. Perhaps there's not a genetic code in there for the mammoth to resist some of our modern diseases, that it would get sick and then it would be passed on in the meat to the human, and then suddenly we need a mammoth vaccine, bro. You need to knock the hair off the needle first. You know, there's all kind of things that could go wrong bringing these animals back. They're not for this time or from this time. So you're right. Like, imagine if you got, oh, there's a mammoth. Oh, we got to recall the mammoth meat. Oh, everybody who ate mammoth meat is now going to get like brain-eating disease, like mad cow disease. We got mad mammoth disease. Right. But we got a vaccine for that, bro. Don't worry, we got you covered.
That's totally right. They're going to come up with new stuff, and it might not, some of it might be real or imagined things. So the way I understand science is when you get new animals that are from a certain time period, like you said, they would be immune to certain things, but not other things that didn't exist in their time period. So think about all of the livestock diseases over time that we had during colonization. It messed up the Americas. You got smallpox and measles and mumps and all of these other things that we got inherited semi-immunities to from being around farm animals for thousands of years. We haven't been around those animals. None of us have. Maybe our ancestors, we might get lucky and not be susceptible to something old, but will that new livestock and stuff, and maybe the things that eat that new livestock, be susceptible to new forms of problems?
Answer is absolutely yes. Because I have seen some people that, like the boneyard that is up in Alaska and different parts of northern latitudes. There's one in Russia as well. There's one in Alaska. I mean, massive, massive, massive piles of bones and animals just all smashed in, which means some sort of giant cataclysm where there was 1,000-foot wave that scraped everything and moved it forward. And then either the wave dissipated and all that muck was rolled up into what you consider like low mountain ranges, with 100 million skeletons of woolly mammoths rolled in together on top of each other. Well, sometimes in that permafrost, they find a fully intact mammoth. And there's been some people who are like, oh, the meat looks brand fresh, and they used to feed it to the dogs for a lot of dog sled time. And you got to wonder what happened to those dogs. They always talk about the dog sled teams, if they came across these frozen mammoths and they would determine whether the meat was good or not, or rotten or whatever, that they would actually cook it enough and then feed it to their dogs. But we never know what happened to those sled dogs after they consumed that meat. It seems like there's a news blackout after that point.
I heard they donated them to Haiti.
Oh, did they? Yeah, the fresh packaging. Yeah, that'll stay good and nice and fresh down there in the heat.
I'm just kidding. There's some people that don't mind dog. There's some Native American tribes, some Asian people, and different people around the world that are okay with that. And, if things get bad enough, we might be okay with that too, eating the dog.
Oh, keep away from Fluffy, man. I'm going to have to defend Fluffy and my eggs and my vegetable garden. What kind of world is this coming to where that's too much defense.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? I might as well just move in the castle and let them defend it for me. I don't need to do anything.
I'm just kidding. I think Fluffy's going to be safe as Americans. I really think that there are enough bright Americans that even if we go into a deep depression, we're going to be fine.